There are a few reasons that recruiters or hiring managers reach out to potential job candidates, but then they never respond to them again. Ghosting became the word on the dating sites when someone was no longer into communicating. Just not that into you and adios. Gone without a word. Since then, the term has crossed over into the world of recruiting and hiring. It's beyond frustrating to be hopeful in talks about a potential job one day, and then the next day, nada, nothing. It seems impolite to just stop communicating and not very professional at all. But in our busy digital life, it can and does happen. Messages and emails get buried. Life is busy, and many think there's no explanation required when priorities change. Not that I agree, it's just what's happening. And that doesn't help job applicants so much. Being ghosted is aggravating and can help make companies look bad to prospective employees if the representatives are not organized and responsive. In a perfect world, this would never happen, but since it is occurring, let's dive into the legitimate reasons why this might take place. I mentioned priorities, so let's begin there. The company was set to fulfilling the role that you are applying for, but what if their needs shift and they now need something different, an entirely different position to fill? These sudden changes can be overwhelming for recruiters, HR personnel, and hiring managers. When working with an influx of potential candidates and ever-changing hiring needs, they can sometimes just completely lose track of candidates in a demanding environment. The next reason why you may have been left hanging is that the recruiter or the person you were speaking with is on vacation. They quit or they were let go from their job. So no one really knows that loose end was left hanging. So simple enough to let applicants know that you'll be out of the office for a time, but shame on them for not letting you know. But in the case of a change in employment status, it's left up to the remaining leaders and team members to check the database of candidates and tie up loose ends on whatever projects were being worked on prior to that staffing change. Failing to navigate these changes can leave great candidates behind. And one of the last reasons applicants are ghosted is that some people, to put it simply, are just not good at their jobs. We've all done business with this sort of person, whether it's on a professional basis or as a consumer personally. Unfortunately, it just happens. When my clients run into this situation, there are strategies that I tell them they can apply. The number one thing is not to be afraid to follow up. In fact, you should always follow up. Don't fear that you're being a pest or feel like you're stalking them. I suggest that you reach out up to 3 or 4 times, but only 1 time every 2 weeks. After you've made that much effort and have received no response, then it's probably simply time to let go of that and move on. Don't give it a thought, take it personally, or waste any more time. You're either working with a company that's not interested or not a good recruiter. If you've sent a resume and applied online, be sure to inquire if they're in receipt of your application. And that way you can be sure that there's a person that you can talk to. It's also a great way to stand out from the beginning. Make sure if you've had an interview that you send a thank you note 24 to 48 hours afterward to the interview. And if it was a panel interview, you actually should do so for each and every member of the panel. There's no need to be aggressive or too pushy. You will just politely inquire about the exact job title and where the company is currently at in the hiring process. So like I said, if there's a great lack of communication going on in your job search, keep it moving. Just as in dating and relationships, there are plenty of fish in the sea, and there will be employment opportunities for you in the future. If one doesn't work out, you just need to go ahead and feel free to move on to the next. And remember, communication goes both ways. If you are in talks with someone but have a better opportunity presenting itself, it's considerate to let that person know that you are pursuing a different position and so on. Don't do the same and leave them hanging. If you're curious to learn more great strategies for your job search, I have a free webinar masterclass for you. And all you have to do is just click on the link and get registered. And I promise you this will help you to get further ahead in your job search. Happy job hunting. Click on the link below, and I hope to see you at my free masterclass where I'm going to teach you tons of today's job strategies.